I when Carla told me you'd reached out and offered to do this program for us, I was really excited. Like I just told you, I was really sorry that I missed the program at Imaging. You've been a part of my PPLA life for, well, as long as I've been here. You know, appreciate you being with us tonight, and I'm sure that you can give us a much better introduction to yourself than I can. So take it away.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, gang. I am actually, like I was telling you guys earlier, I am very humbled that anybody even wants to learn this. I think it's fascinating personally. When they asked me to do this class at PPA Imaging in Nashville, I truly expected 5 or 10 people to show up. And I mean, the room was packed. I mean, they were falling out into the hallway and lined up on the walls and sitting on top of each other in the aisles. It was amazing. And I was even more humbled then that somebody would actually want to learn this. When it comes to real estate photography, I mean, I'll give you the whole story with myself in a few minutes. But the thing is, it comes off on the initial look. It's like, I'm photographing a house. I mean, how hard can that be, right? It is way more difficult than you think, okay? It really is way more difficult than you think. So with that said, I've been playing in this game for almost 5 years now, and I have been a professional photographer for, I don't know, Lord, I've been photographing since I was 15 years old. I'm 57. So add that up, 40 plus years, right? And I love what I do. I jokingly said this week to someone that the problem is, I'm not interested in hanging sheetrock because I don't know how to do that. I mean, I know how to be a photographer, and that's it. If I can't be a photographer, I'm going hungry. So, I mean, I am always looking for ways to make a buck as a photographer. And so that's kind of where this sort of came from. So with that said, let me just start. Let me share my screen, and I will, wait, let me unshare this screen before I go too far. We're going to share, and then we're going to unshare, but now we're going to share again. I just want to make sure I have all the audio settings right. Yes, good. And then we're going to make it play. All right, good. So this was the program right here at Imaging. This is the actual program that I put on. So I'm going to give you guys basically the exact same program. So yeah, Joel, if you want to let these people who are bing and bong and in, can you handle that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll just keep rolling. You let them in. So I call this program, Real Estate Photography, the side hustle, because that's kind of what it is. It is a fantastic side hustle, okay? As professional photographers, in my humble opinion, if you're in this room right now because you think, oh man, I am going to become a real estate photographer and I'm going to make bazillions of dollars, the reality is, log out now, forget it, because you're not going to make bazillions of dollars. But it is a fantastic side hustle to add to what you already do. So here's one thing you guys can do for me right now, because we are going to have a question and answer period after each one of the segments, okay? Segment 1, marketing to real estate agents. After that, we're going to have a question and answer segment. Photography and camera gear, we're going to have a little question and answer segment. Same thing with video, additional sales. And then the big one is the end one. I'm going to try to go through the first 4 as quick as possible so as to give the most time to post-production, because this is the thing that stumps most of us, okay? So if you could do me a favor right now on your device, if you could click mute, okay? You can unmute yourself when we get to that question and answer period. But that way, if your car makes a noise or your phone rings or whatever, and we're recording this, it won't, be a disturbance to everybody. But these are the different segments that we're going to go through, okay? But the thing I want to really drive home is that this is not a class on how to take pretty pictures, okay? If y'all want me to put a class on how to take pretty pictures, call James Byron, okay? How's that for brutal honesty? I mean, I know how to take pretty pictures. I've won all kinds of awards. But lately, like I told y'all earlier, I'm 57 years old. My interest is making money, okay? I love what I do. I love being a professional photographer. But if I can't make a buck at this, it's a hobby. And I'll hobby later. Right now, I want to make dollars, okay? So if you're coming into this thinking to yourself, man, Kirk is going to show me how to win a lot of awards with real estate photography, again, log off. Save yourself. Go get you a beer. Go enjoy the beautiful weather. Forget about it, because that's not what I'm going to teach you. I'm not going to teach you how to take pretty pictures and how to win awards. But if your goal is to make a little extra side money with what you do, great. Hang around. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about marketing to real estate agents, okay? Because that is the first trick to this whole process, okay? Again, Joel, just give me a yeah or no. If you have a problem with this, tell me. I don't have a problem with letting these people in, but I'm just going to keep rolling, okay?
No, I got it.
You're wonderful. So when it comes to marketing to real estate agents, okay, this is the real trick, because the bulk of the income that comes from real estate photography will come from the real estate agents, okay? When I started messing around with this and started playing with it, and again, I'm going to tell you my story. The pictures that you see on the screen right now, these are actual photographs taken by real estate agents to market multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property, okay? In fact, on this screen right here that you're seeing is probably $2 to $3 million worth of property. And these are the photographs that you see right now that they are using to market this. And forgive me for thinking this way, but obviously they need help, okay? Because this stinks. As it offends me as a professional photographer, okay? That's how I feel about it. So this is my story. A friend of mine who has a $4 million property in Destin, Florida, a guy that I play golf with a lot, roughly 5 years ago, messages me one day and says, "Hey, Kirk, I want you to photograph my property in Destin." And I said, "Okay, what's this all about?" "Oh, this jerk wants to charge me $300 to use his pictures that they were using before. And now I started putting them on, all the different, for sale by owners and all the different, vacation rental property sites out there. And now he done sent me a bill for $300-400 and said a cease and desist. He said, "That aggravates the crap out of me. I'd rather pay you $300-400. I'm like, okay. So here's the deal, Kirk. This is what he tells me. I'll pay for the food. I'll pay for the gas. Me and you will go up to Florida. We'll play golf for 3-4 days. You photograph my property and I get the pictures. How's that sound?" I'm like, that sounds pretty good. So the image that you see on the screen right now of the blue pool and the yellow house with the moon, that's his property, okay? I went up there and I photographed it and we played golf for 3 days and I ate like a king and we had a big dog time, okay? Living in a $4 million house for, 3-4 days. And when I got home, after delivering him the images, I started wondering to myself, I wonder if this is kind of a thing. Well, before I could even get that, Googled and searched, the guy who manages his property for him calls me on the phone and says, "Hey man, I saw your buddy Timmy's pictures. Oh my God, they were incredible. I got 30 more houses. how much would you charge me to photograph 30 houses? When can you do it? Well, go figure. There was a photography convention like right there in that town in 2 weeks. And I said, well, you know, I'm gonna need a place to stay. He said, you can stay in one of my houses. Okay. And I said, and I couldn't get to it for 2 weeks. He said, no problem. And I would have to charge you. And I proceeded to throw out some numbers. And he said, great, I got 30 houses for you to photograph. So off to Florida I go, living in a $4 million house, attending Sync photography convention and photographing 30 houses, okay, over the week, that week. He loved them. He was freaked out. I ain't never seen nothing like this, okay? So this is how it started for me. I started wondering to myself, again, even more now that this guy from Florida calls me up and wants me to start photographing his houses. I mean, how bad is the photography locally? So I started searching, and let me be honest with you, it's bad, okay? I'm gonna show you how bad in a few seconds. And I mean, the pictures that I saw on the internet, frankly, in the Houma area was not professional, okay? Not professional at all. So I reasoned to myself, how can I'm looking at the long haul here. I can't just go in and say, you know, I'm going to be your Jesus Christ to real estate photography. I got to prove to them that this is doable. So I put it out on social media, just being crazy. I said, you know what? I'm going to put it out on social media, and I'm going to say, how about I do your house for free? Here's the catch-22. You guys who are just coming in the room, do me a favor. Put your mic on mute. We're going to have a Q&A in just a few seconds. So I put it out on social media. I will photograph your house for free. But there's a few stipulations. The house has to be on the market, has to have been on the market for a while. The images have been done not professionally, you know, preferably something done with a cell phone. And you're having difficulty selling your house, okay? Call me up, and here's my number. I'll photograph your house for free. There's a few other catch-22s, but call me and let's talk about it. Well, this lady calls me up on the phone. She takes me up on my offer. She says, look, Kirk, this house has been on the market for 10 years. It's been on the market since Katrina. I'm like, boo, I don't know nothing about real estate, but you priced it too high. She said, no, Kirk, the price is not too high because this house next door sold and that house next door sold and this one down the street sold for more money than what we're asking. I said, well, then the neighborhood sucks. No, Kirk, the neighborhood don't suck. It's a fantastic neighborhood. I said, well, okay, again, I don't know squat about real estate. Well, then the school district must really royally stink. No, it's the best school district. It's the best. And I said, well, let me see the pictures. You may be a candidate. Send me the pictures that you're using right now to market your house and to try to sell your house. Okay, so she sends me the pictures. The pictures that you see across the top right now are the pictures that she used to try to sell this house. Notice a few things, like, for example, the nice, beautiful, attractive, open toilet seat, okay? Look at the dark images. Look at the silhouette lighting in the kitchen or the little breakfast nook. The pictures at the bottom are the pictures that I took and I provided to her. I said, boo, here's the catch-22. I'll take the pictures, but if your house sells, you owe me $250. She says, you got a deal. I gave her the pictures, and in 30 days, that house sold. 30 days. This is a house that had been on the market for 10 years. And I thought to myself, I'm on to something, okay? I'm on to something. This could be big. So I started getting busy. I joined the local real estate photography board. And if you get nothing from this class, Okay? Pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. If you get nothing from this class, join the local real estate board. Okay? It's not expensive. I've already looked into it for the New Orleans area. Okay? It's cheap. It's so cheap, y'all better jump on it or I'm jumping on it. Okay? Now, I done laid down the gauntlet. I done put down the challenge. Okay? It's dirt cheap. Now, in Houma, Louisiana, when you join the local real estate board as an affiliate, they give you, this is not the case in New Orleans, but in Houma, Louisiana, they give you an email list of every agent that they have listed on their system. In Houma, that's just over 500 agents. And they proceeded to hand me, like this, on a silver platter, all those email addresses. I'd love to hear what you think it costs, but I'm just going to tell you, $160. I was like, well, let me think about it. Okay, I'll be happy to join. Well, I started emailing these people every week. And part of my email marketing to them was I would offer to come and do a free presentation at their office to all the agents in their office. Now, these people are no dummies, okay? The people who run these various real estate agencies, they're not stupid. They didn't get where they are just by, being lucky. They know good marketing and information adds to their back pocket. So sure, every one of them would take me up on the offer. They would say, sure, we have meetings on Tuesdays. How long do you need? And I'd say, I don't know, 45 minutes. Oh, great, Kirk, come on in. And I'd bring in 24 donuts and I'd put on a little presentation. And I did this for every agency in Houma, Louisiana. Okay. Now, if y'all want to have me back to actually do that class for you, just like you see on the screen right now at Imaging, I went over to the H&H booth in the trade show and I did an actual class and we actually gave out donuts and everything, okay? Just like a real class. And I did the presentation that I gave to the various agencies. So if y'all want to have me back and to do that little class, I'll be happy to do that, but that's for another time, okay? During that little class that I would offer at the agency, I would tell those agents, I would say, hey guys, do you happen to have, and by this time I'd started to pick up on some of the lingo. Do you happen to have a dog? I would tell them, a house or a property that you've been trying to sell. It's just been on the market and no matter what you do, it just won't sell. You got some kind of dog out there that maybe I can help you with? Here's my question. If you, one, have a dog that you think you would like help with, and number two, you did the pictures with a cell phone, I will take the pictures of that property for free in exchange for those crappy cell phone pictures that I can use in my marketing. Well, several people took me up on that offer, okay? And they said, sure, Kirk, I got a dog. Well, one of those dogs is this property right here. The pictures you see at the top were the pictures taken by the agent with their cell phone. And the pictures underneath are the pictures that I took of the exact same spot, exact same property, using all of my little techniques that we're going to talk about in a minute, okay? So obviously you can see that my images are better. I then proceeded to use this in my marketing. Remember, I got all these people's email addresses and I started firing off emails that professional photography makes a difference. Are you using a cell phone? Well, then this is what your cell phone pictures will look like, but this is what I can do for you. Well, it didn't take long before these people started to say, whoa, just like me, we're on to something here. We're on to something. This can make a difference. So again, marketing to real estate agents, it's not just, I can take prettier pictures than you. You have to sell the concept of professional photography. Why is professional photography better than what you can do with your cell phone? Here's a few things. Listings sell for about 50% faster when they're listed with professional photography. Listings sell for 39% closer to list price. It generates 118% more online views. Professional photography is, for the online, it is the new curb appeal. Back in the day, it was called curb appeal, okay? Because mama and papa would ride around in their little car, okay? And they'd pull up to the house and he'd say, "Boo, what you think about that house?" And she'd say, "Ooh, I like that house. Write down that number. Let's call the lady." Okay, let's call her. The house had to look good from the curb, because that's back in the day, back when my mom and dad bought houses, that's how people bought houses. They ride around house to house to house with a list, and they'd find all the houses that were for sale. It had to look good from the curb. Today, online is how people do that. They shop online. They look at things like Zillow and Realtor.com. And if you want to test it, go to your area, wherever you live. Go to Realtor.com and look for houses in your area. And notice when all those little thumbnails pop up on the screen, notice which ones you want to click on. It's the ones with the pretty blue background. It's the ones that are clear and sharp and in focus. It's the pretty pictures. It has to have curb appeal. And this is so easy to sell to real estate agents. They get it. But it's beyond that. You also have to sell yourself. You have to sell why Kirk Voclain, why you, why are you so much better than me? Because look, let me put this into perspective. We as professional, I got to have a drink before I get into this, because let me tell you something. I'm about to step on a whole lot of toes. As professional photographers, we develop this attitude, this perspective of ourselves as, I'm an artist. I'm such an artist. I am so good at what I do that people bow before me. Let me break the bad news to you in the real estate world. You are nothing more than a pressure washer, okay? A pressure washer shows up into a property, and you know what they do? They pressure wash the house and they make it pretty. And they give them a couple of $100 and they say, "Thank you very much." Was that artistic? No. All they did was clean the dirt. That's all you are to these people. You're not an artist. You're nothing special. You are nobody. You are a means to an end. You are a highly paid pressure washer. That's it. So why then should I give you my hard-earned money? Why Kirk Voclain? For example, the two pictures that you see on the screen right now, both pictures were taken by me. Both pictures are in fact identical. Both pictures were photographed with my fancy schmancy $8,000 Canon camera. And this is what I tell real estate agents. However, the top picture is what came straight out of the camera. And if you went out there and bought a camera like I got, the top picture is what you would get. However, the bottom picture is what happens after I apply all of my computer magic. That's where the real magic happens. Now, I hope you listened to what I just said, because I just cut them off at the knees, because frankly and humbly, some of the real estate agents in my town could buy and sell every person in this room right now. That's how much money they make, okay? They make millions of dollars. To drop $8,000 on a camera is nothing for these people. To put $10,000 out on a drone, if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. It's nothing. You have to separate yourself and show that you are valuable. You have something that they cannot do. They sell real estate. You take professional photography. And this is the magic, okay? To give you another example, take a look at this picture. You look at it initially and you say, wow, yeah, that's pretty nice. This is what a real estate agent would do, okay? This is a highly trained real estate agent. This is a real estate agent who understands the rules of thirds. This is a real estate agent who has who's invested in really good camera equipment. This is a real estate agent who did a little training. But you know what? That's not what I deliver, because this is what everybody else can do. This is what I deliver, okay? You want me to back that up and show you all the difference? Before, after. Let's do it again. Before, after. You see the difference? See, this is what you have to do if you're going to market to real estate agents. You have to show them, hey, baby, it's only me. If you don't get me, forget it. You're not gonna be successful, okay? So here's a few things. Marketing to real estate agents, it ultimately comes down to price. And I'll use this analogy, okay? Let's say you are, you are so good at what you do. You are just, you are Jesus Christ of photographers. You walk on water, okay? That's how good you are. And for that reason, you charge $1,000 to photograph a house. I don't care how good you are. Real estate agents are not going to pay that. They're not. Now, if you worked hard at it and you marketed out the wazoo, you might every now and then find somebody out there who's willing to give you $1,000 to photograph a house. But the reality is you have to think about how these people are paid, because real estate agents do not get paid unless that house sells. For that reason, real estate agents get a real bad rap about being cheap, okay? Oh, they're so cheap. They don't want to pay for this and they don't want to pay for that. But the reality is they will pay for it if you can show them the value. And just to give you a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about, a lot of times people say, a $250,000 house, they're going to make 6%, but they don't make 6%. Okay. 6% is the number that gets thrown around a lot, but oftentimes they got to split that, the listing agent and the selling agent. Then each one of them has a broker and they got to split that with the broker. And then there's all kinds of discounts and other things that happen. So in reality, a $250,000 house, if they're lucky, an agent is going to make $2,500, which is beautiful, beautiful. Well, let me get my calculator. I asked a real estate agent the other day, a really highly successful agent. Okay. And I said, Boo, let me ask you something. I'm getting my calculator open so I can do this intelligently. And I said, let me ask you something. A great year. You had a great year. How many houses did you sell? She said, 30 houses. I said, really? At $2,500 a house, that's $7,500. Do y'all know more? I made more money in real estate photography than they did last year. Okay. I made more money than them. So oftentimes we think, oh, they make so much money, and some of them do. But the reality is the bulk of them do not make that much money. Okay. So I started thinking to myself when I got into all of this, I started thinking along the lines of, and I love to quote Ralph. Everybody loves and knows Ralph Romagara. And me and him had a big old long conversation just a couple of days about this. And I told him I quote him all the time. And that is the volume concept versus quality and quantity. Okay. As a high school senior photographer, you guys know me. Many of you guys know me as a high school senior photographer. It wasn't unusual for me for many, many years to make $2,000 averages on senior portraits. Meanwhile, Ralph Romagara is running around making $75 averages. Okay. Now, right off the bat, you think, well, Ralph's a jerk. He's only making $75. But the reality is, Ralph is the genius. He's photographing 1,000, 2,000 seniors at $75 a pop. I'm photographing 40 or 50 seniors at $2,000 a pop. Who's making more money? I use the analogy of McDonald's. McDonald's sells billions of hamburgers at $1 or $2 a piece. Whereas some of these high-end restaurants may sell a hamburger for $20, but they only sell 20 or 30 of them a month. Again, oftentimes, dollar signs can be skewed based on volume. So for that reason, when I started to do this, I said, I'm going to be a real estate photographer, but I'm going to do it in the concept of volume. So thus the reason my price starts at $99. 99 is a very powerful number. A buddy of mine is in the in hotel and motel industries, in the travel industry. And he says, Kirk, when we put a property out there for sale and it's 109, it sells pretty good. 102, 101. If we put it for $100, super sale, $100, it does really good. But buddy, when we put it out there at $99, it's like the floodgates open and people zoom in like crazy. And it's like, holy cow, how in the world? We want to book that hotel. 99 is a very powerful number. So thus the reason, that's where my pricing starts. And we can talk about pricing if you want, but that's where my pricing starts. $99. I shoot 12 shots for $99. I sell all kinds of add-ons, okay? And when it comes to being a real estate photographer, that's why I got my tie on today, because I'm talking real estate. It's all about being professional. These people view themselves on the same level as lawyers and doctors, okay? So that's how they view themselves. That's how I want to present myself, okay? Always be on time. Always be prepared. Always be professional. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Things like this. All those things your mama taught you when you were little. This is important if you're going to market to real estate agents. One other thing when it comes to being on time, I use Studio Plus. It helps me. If you'd like to get a little discount on Studio Plus is an studio management software. They'll give you 50% off if you use the code KVPhoto. So I'm just passing that on to you guys to let you know that there is that discount out there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, let me move to my next screen, is photography and camera gear. So I'm going to stop the share. Wait, I hit the wrong button. I'm going to stop the share so I can see everybody's faces. Hello, where did we go? Stop. All right, so now I can see everybody's faces. I'm going to unmute. I tell you what, do like this if you got a question for me. I'm here to answer questions about marketing to real estate agents. Let's handle these questions now, and then we'll jump into photography and camera gear next. Go ahead. All right, go ahead, Florina. Go ahead, talk to me.
Okay,
boo.
so my question was, you mentioned something, it was value versus what?
Okay. A lot of people view themselves when it comes to
As artists.
We're artists. Okay. So for that reason, I need to be paid like an artist. Get that out of your head if you're going to be a real estate photographer. You are a technician. You're a means to an end. Okay. So for that reason, with that knowledge, I went into real estate photography with the concept of I am going to provide this at a reduced price, and I'm going to do plenty of them, as opposed to I'm going to do 1 or 2 of these a week. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Dubois, you had a question for me? Oh, you got to unmute yourself, baby.
I got. Where is it? Okay.
Oh, you muted yourself back up. Wait, you was unmuted, then you muted. Do it one more time. All right, go.
What are some of the add-ons you were talking about?
We're gonna talk about that in a minute. So hold
All right.
tight on that. I got plenty to talk about. If y'all got questions, now's the time. And remember, not questions about other stuff, not about camera gear, any of that kind of stuff. I want to talk about questions that relate to marketing to real estate agents. If y'all don't have questions, we're gonna move on.
Kurt.
Yo,
Hey, Kurt.
yes, go ahead.
Hey,
Carl.
this is Leslie.
Oh, Leslie, go ahead.
Hey, you said join the real estate board of the real estate board or the real estate. You said join as I don't understand. I didn't understand that. Well, I was driving when you were saying that.
In my town, in Houma, Louisiana, in the big town of Houma, Louisiana, it's known as the Bayou Board of Realtors. I would prefer
Okay.
you not join that one, okay?
No, I don't want
But-
to join that one.
But if you want to, I love competition. Giddy up, baby. Let's roll, okay? But in New Orleans, I think it's the NOLA Board of Realtors. I think. I
No,
looked
I'm
it
in
up not too long ago.
I'm in Baton Rouge, so
Baton Rouge has theirs too. Let me tell you something. Baton Rouge got some freaking good real estate photographers, okay? So put your big girl panties on if you want to compete in Baton Rouge, all right?
Okay.
But it
Okay.
can be done. And in my humble opinion, in Baton Rouge, it's all about the dollar, baby, okay?
Mm.
If you go into Baton Rouge, because I've examined Baton Rouge for a while and watched it happen for 5 years now. And if you walked into Baton Rouge at $99 for 12 shots, holy cow, okay? And look, make the photography good. It can't be crap, okay? But make the photography good. You give them 12 shots, $99. I think you're sitting on a stinking gold mine. I just put $70,000 in your pocket. Let me just put it that way, okay? All right.
okay.
So that is the thing. Join your local Baton Rouge. I don't know the name of it, but you can Google it. Board of Realtors. Just Google Baton Rouge Board of Realtors. Join as an affiliate, okay? And just like that, and start going to all their meetings, passing out business cards, and being Mr. Cool, okay? Well, you can't shake hands right now, but you get what I'm saying, okay? When all that comes back. And go and do meetings, go and do their little classes, and be Mr. Sociable. And I know you, Leslie. I hung with you. You're a fun person. You will be, like I told you, I just put $70,000 in your pocket. I'm just saying.
Wow. Gotcha, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Mm-hmm. All right. Who else got one for me? We're going to move on if y'all ain't got one.
I got one.
All right, go.
All right, so you were talking about how you approached them and you told them, give them your dog, give me the hardest house you had on the market the longest. Is that the best way to, I guess, get the relationship with maybe some realtors that you already know?
Okay, the guy that I said, the house that you saw, I photographed 2 for him yesterday, okay? And he has used me ever since. Now this guy is, you want to talk cheap, buddy. This guy, you look up cheap and it's got his picture there in the dictionary. But yet I sold it. I didn't sell it. But the reality is those pictures I took for that dude of that house sold that house. I'm sorry. All right. I often say stuff like I sold that house. I didn't, but I did. And look, a lot of times I just got real lucky. I will admit it. Like right now, we behind the dog's tail with this whole COVID mess because people ain't buying real estate right now. Okay. But buddy, You photograph a house right now and that crap sells, they gonna think you Jesus Christ. I'm serious, all right? They're gonna think you walk on water because they're having a hard time right now selling stuff. And and that's what happened. At the time, 5 years ago, roughly, this was one of the guys, that dog, quote unquote, dog house that I just showed y'all. That thing sold right after I did those pictures. Now, was it a coincidence? I don't know. I like to think it's because of the picture. And if you happen to bump into some of that kind of stuff, it's like gold, man. And you don't know until you do it. And I just went into this thing with my chest all puffed out, like it's because of me. And look, I'm gonna tell y'all something else. When they call me up, this does happen a lot, and this is purely coincidence, but I don't take advantage of it. I take advantage of every scenario. They'll call me on a Monday. Hey, Kirk, what you got this week? I said, well, I could do you on Tuesday at 3. Okay, put me down for Tuesday at 3. All right, are you on, boo? I'll take care of you. Well, Tuesday at I don't know, 10 o'clock, they call me up. Kirk, you ain't gonna believe this. The next door neighbors, I put my sign out front and they saw that the house was for sale and they bought it. I already sold the house, so I don't need the pictures. I'll say, listen to me carefully. I'll say, you see how good I am? You don't even have to get me to take pictures now. You just got to call me up and you sell houses. And they laugh and I laugh, but I'm serious. Plant that seed in their mind because these are some superstitious people. They believe this crap, okay? Like, I got to call Kirk because if I don't call Kirk, I ain't going to sell this house. I'm telling y'all, I can't go there. I don't know y'all that good. These are some superstitious, crazy people, okay? And I play into that like crazy, you know? So does that help you there, Carlton? All right, we're gonna move on. Questions? All right, let's talk camera gear. This won't take long because y'all professionals. I'm gonna share my screen. And I'm gonna start my video. All right, so let's talk about photography and camera gear. This is the thing. We photographers, we just love this stuff, okay? So here it is. Here's my list of stuff that I use to make this happen. You'll notice that probably you have much of this stuff. Drone, yeah, you might not have a drone. This is what I use. I use the DJI Inspire 2 with the X7 camera and the 16mm lens, okay? Mega bucks. If I had to do it all over again, I would not buy this camera. This drone. It is entirely too much camera for real estate photography. So if you're taking notes right now, write this down. DJI Mavic Pro 2. Adorama and various other places, you can find these suckers for $1,500 to $2,000 used. Buy it from somebody reputable, somebody who will give you 30 days of a return policy. And oh my God, I'm gonna show you some pictures taken with the DJI Mavic 2. When you get it, it looks like a toy. It ain't, okay? This thing is magical. Now, when it comes to the other stuff that I do, I shoot with the Canon 1DX Mark II. I shoot it primarily f8. I take 5 bracketed images. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I use the 14mm f2.8L lens. I use a Gitzo carbon fiber tripod, wireless trigger, and I use continuous light. Here, can y'all see me? I'm assuming I'm in the corner. This is one of the continuous lights that I use, okay? I get them from China. I got a bazillion of them a while back, and I sold them when I went to imaging. I sold them for $49 a piece. If a bazillion of y'all want me to make another order, I'll do it. But for the most part, you can pick them up on Amazon. I think, wait, is that upside down? Yeah. This, can y'all see that? MANBILY. I think you can pick them up for $59 or $69 on Amazon. The thing does an incredible job. And then we're going to talk about how I use it in a few seconds. Let's talk about drone photography. This is one of a drone image. The reality is this is a camp out of Morgan City that I did not too long ago. Beautiful, beautiful property. Oh my God. If I had like a few, $1 million in the bank, I'd have bought this thing. This thing is phenomenal. But the picture you are looking at right now on the screen is something that nobody sees. Nobody but God sees this picture. Nobody will ever come to your house and say, I saw that picture from the air. It's phenomenal. Nobody sees this. But when you present a photograph like this, when it comes to selling an image, it creates this, I gotta have it. Look at that. Look at the water. I could be fishing. I could be my family. Oh, I got the kids. We got this. That's the kind of reaction that people get. It's an image that nobody will ever see. You will never see this view. But it's one of those things that people feel like they gotta have it. Thus the reason why aerial photography in real estate is so powerful. This is another image that I'll just give you an idea. If they have a beautiful view outside the windows like this one, it's a lake, it's phenomenal, it's looking fantastically pretty. Make sure that through the windows you can see that lake. Okay, this is important. We're going to talk about how you actually accomplish this in a few moments. Okay, this is an image. Here's another controversy. I don't know. Some of you guys may have been in photography like a million years, like myself. And you may remember the whole, Fuji versus Kodak wars. You may really go way back and remember the Mamiya versus Hasselblad wars. And now in more present day, it's the Nikon versus Canon wars. Well, in the real estate photography, here's the war. The war is flash versus HDR or ambient. What you're seeing on the screen right now is an image done with flash, okay? This image, the big one, is an image done with flash. And I understand the concept of flash, and we're gonna analyze this in a few moments. And I understand how it's done. I understand I have all the equipment for certain specialty situations, but the reality is the bigger image is not how I do it. What I do is this. I use only the lights that are in the room. I use just ambient lighting. I don't bring in any external lighting other than my little, this little light, this little continuous light. Look, I'm gonna turn it on for a second. See, this little continuous light that I have right here. That's it. That's all I really bring with me. And there's this massive debate about which one is better, and it's this, oh no, it's flash, he sucks because he's HDR. We're gonna discuss that in a few minutes. Here's an image that I did of a bathroom. This is just continuous light. This is no flash. This is just balancing two images into one image, okay? And we're actually I'm gonna let you see all of the raw images that I did of this image in a few moments. Here's an image that I did. I got the huge privilege, we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes when we talk about add-ons. I got the huge privilege of getting hired to go photograph resorts in Mexico. It's one of the perks of being a real estate photographer. And I'll tell you how that came about here in a few moments. But while I was there, one of the things that they had me do was photographing rooms. So this picture that you see right here was not done with flash. It was done all with continuous lights, okay? Just regular lights that you can light up in the room. And just to kind of break it down, here's how it breaks down. Obviously the blue camera symbol, that's where my camera was. And all of the little red symbols is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. It took 6 lights to light up this room. And you can see that, I got a light under the bed, light behind the bed, light on the back side of the fruit, a light in the bathtub, behind the bathtub, a light in the shower area, a light on the other side of that sofa, lighting up all these various things. And I put it all together, and this is the image that I ended up with, okay? While I was doing imaging, I wanted to give them something familiar to look at. So I found at the Gaylord Convention Center, I found this nice little area where everybody walked past. And that's what you see on the screen right here. These are the 5 images. I told y'all I bracket the images, F8, I shoot 5 shots. And so from too dark to too light, these are the 5 bracketed images. I then take those 5 bracketed images and I narrow it down to the 2 good images. One that looks fantastic outside and one that looks fantastic inside. Then I marry those 2 images together to create this image. And I wanted to do that for imaging because this is a spot that they walked past every day, okay? Every day they walked past this spot and they could say, oh, I know where this is. And at the end of my class, they could walk right past that spot and say, hey, that's that spot where Kirk took the picture. So everybody could get a good, clean look. Now, in real estate photography, there are 4 pictures that you have to take every time, okay? 4 pictures. Those 4 pictures are front of the house, okay? That's the upper left. Back of the house, upper right. Kitchen, lower right, lower left, and lower right living room or den, okay? These 4 pictures have to be done, at least in my Houma, Louisiana MLS system. You have to take these 4 pictures. After that, it's all just kind of fluff, okay? So I make sure that these 4 pictures, these 4 pictures are especially good, okay? So that's the thing. Now, typically at this point, when I get to this in these classes, people start having all kinds of massive questions like, what if this and what if that? One of the most common what if questions is, Kirk, what do you do if it rains? And the answer is, we take the pictures, okay? And this picture that you see on the left is literally, my wife did it. I was out, look, it was so dark. Look, you can see the street lights are on, okay? I pull out my fancy LSU umbrella because it's big, and I put it over my head, and I got my rain boots on and my raincoat on, and I take the pictures in the rain, literally. Rain falls at a speed known as terminal velocity, and as a result, it does not photograph, okay? And so since it does not photograph, you end up with beautiful images that just look like it's just a dull, overcast day. So if it's raining, we still taking pictures. And real estate agents, oh my God, one of these days I'm gonna do it all the time, say, I want my pictures to have lots of natural light. So just once, I'm gonna do it, but just it's gonna give me another 4 or 5 days of not doing it. I like to post this picture right here, just so you can see that I'm willing and able at any point in time to do pictures with lots of natural light, okay? Lots of natural light. So with that said, I like to take the rain and turn the rain into a positive. So when it rains, I do pictures like this. The picture on the left that you see of I call it the LSU house because it's all purple and gold. It was almost raining. It wasn't quite raining, but all of that purple and all of that goldness and all that stuff, that was faked. I faked all of it, okay? But because I had a nice, beautiful, even overcast sky, it allowed me the opportunity to do that. The one on the right and the one on the right bottom, all overcast, rainy type images that I drop in. I'm like a drug dealer, y'all. I'm embarrassed to say it. I really am. I'm like a crack dealer, okay? I'll do these pictures and it's raining and I'll give them 2 or 3 pictures like this and they're like, wow, Kirk, that house on Hidalgo, you know, the one with the sky that you did when it was raining? Yeah, I sold that in 2 days. Like what would you charge me for What would you charge me to do that for that house on Main Street? Oh, the house on Main Street. Well, that's going to be, you know. So like I said, I'm like a drug dealer. I give them a little bit for free, right? And after they get addicted to it, I start charging them for it. So think about that. All right. So I'm going to stop my share. Stop share. All right. Got everybody. Oh, upside down Florina. I dig that. That's wicked cool. All right. And all right. So that's camera gear. Talk to me. Y'all got questions about camera gear? Raise your hand. Ask me. Holler at me. Talk to me. Before we get into video.
So are you bouncing that light with that continuous?
No, this thing,
Right on.
look, yeah, I'm gonna get way back here. Now I'll turn it on and I'll get my camera all set up. Remember, I'm doing brackets and I'll go click, 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 and I'm moving it like this. Now, most of the time it's, you know, pretty long exposures, and that's why I don't want to hold it steady, because then I'm getting weird shadows. So I'm moving it like this, okay? To keep that thing moving. Cool?
Cool.
All right.
So Kirk, you should use that 14 millimeter lens.
14 millimeter lens, yes.
Think you need to go that wide, or something a little
Okay.
less be okay?
All right, so here's the deal. The 14 millimeter is absolutely the widest that you can get with Canon and not get any fisheye effect. It's spherically correct. Who asked me this?
Joel.
Joel, okay. I like to look at you when you're asking me. It's a spherically correct. So if you get it level, you got nice, beautiful straight lines, okay? No bow. Now, if you tip it one way or the other, you get kind of weirdness, okay? But if you get that sucker level in the middle of the room, it's beautiful, okay? So with that said, that's why 14 millimeter, because 13, I'm getting fisheye, okay? And I want the widest I can get. Now, here's the problem with the 14 millimeter. You use Canon, Joel?
Nikon.
Okay, Canon's 14 millimeter is what, $2,200, I think, okay? For a one stupid prime lens. Now, I have been able to pick one up on eBay. I had to watch it for weeks, but I was able to pick one up on eBay for $900 once, okay? Now, in the interim, my daughter also does real estate photography, and she, while waiting for me to find a nice 14 millimeter for her to own, was using the 16 to 35 zoom. And she did a really good job, okay? If you start Googling real estate photography, you're gonna bump into a gazillion sites out there, and you're gonna find guys out there who swear by various ultra wide zooms, okay? And I think that's phenomenal. And I've seen what they do, and I think lots of them do a phenomenal job. So again, it's kind of what you get accustomed to, okay? And I think you know that. I ain't speaking to the choir here. I mean, I ain't preaching to the choir. I mean, I am preaching to the choir here. You get that. But the 14 millimeter to me is the top of the mountain. It's the best one that Canon makes for this purpose. Now, there will be some out there who swear that no, you got to have a tilt shift lens if you want to be a real estate photographer. And I'll take any one of them cats on in a Photoshop challenge all day, every day. Okay. And I will blow their doors off, because anything they can do with a tilt shift, I can do in Photoshop in way less time than they do when they're shooting it in camera. And plus, I just put an extra, what, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000 in my pocket by not buying the tilt shift. So I don't know if that answers your question, but ultimately, I would not, in my humble opinion, be any less than 16 millimeters to do real estate photography.
Yep. And drone. So pretty much you think that's a must?
No.
Have the
My daughter, like I said, she does real estate photography too, which we're going to talk about that in a little while in another segment. she does not do drone photography. As a result, she charges less. What I charge $99 for, she charges $69. How many of you guys remember Will O'Halloran from Baton Rouge? Do y'all remember Will? Any of you guys? Will taught me a long time ago. He's a really good guy. He's a superb shooter. And a long time ago, Will said, you know, Kirk, really, really smart people, you know what they do? I said, what? He said, they create their own competition. Well, when I started this real estate thing, that's what I did. I created my own competition. I created myself, and then I created Scarlett, my daughter. I created her business. She is my direct competition. I get a cut, man. Every time she does a job, I get a percentage of it, okay? She charges less than me. So every time she does a job, you think I care? No, I don't care. So this is what I did with Scarlett. She does not do drone photography. And there are some weeks when she does more work than I do. So I don't think it's an absolute must. However, I will tell you that it is a way of separating yourself from the rest of the guys. And especially now that the FAA is really cracking down with this stuff. So you do have to have a Part 107 license if you want to be legal and fly a drone, which I have, you know. So does that answer your question, Joel?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, we're moving on to video. I'm going to take that as a yes. All right, let's move on. Share my screen.
I have a question.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't know how to unmute. When you said wireless trigger, that means I can't have one that's wired to the camera?
Okay, no. I just, you know, this is my ADD, OCD, ABC, PDQ, OXYZ. I don't like to be tied to the camera. So I have a wireless one. Now, however, again, bringing back my daughter into this, she can't stand being wirelessly separated from the camera. She has a wired button to her camera. And she said, I like that better. I don't know how you go wireless. I'm like, I don't know how you go wired. Okay. So see, that's what makes the world go around. We all different. So no, you do not have to have it wireless. I just like it because I don't have to touch my camera and I just push my little button and the camera fires. Okay. But they do make them and they're fairly inexpensive that will fire. But this allows you to fire your camera without touching your camera. Because understand that at f8, 100 ISO, in some of these dark houses, that camera will click and shoot 20, 30-second exposures. So you get even a breath of movement on that camera. Like you breathe on it too hard, you're making blurry pictures. So if you're holding the camera, you know, and you go click, 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 and even just pushing the button is enough to create movement, and thus you end up with a blurry picture.
Now the wireless trigger you have, does it have like, because that one time I had bought one and then it broke and I sent it back and the refund it made. Time, it was Velo. I can't remember what the name was of it was. It was like a time thing.
They make all kinds of different ones. Some of them have, you know, on the one that I am currently using right now, it's a cheap one, man. I don't know. I got it from B&H and it was like dirt, $29 if I remember right. But to get it to work right, I have to put it in B mode where I flip it to B and I press the button and it goes click, 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 click. And then to get it to N, I have to press the button again. So different ones work different ways. Does that answer your question, Lee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All
yes.
Right. All right, cool. We're moving on. Video. Let's talk video. All right, I'm going to take that as a yes. We're officially running behind, but you know what? I love y'all. All right, let's talk video because video is a fantastic add-on, especially if you don't mind me getting all weird on you. During this COVID-19, I have not photographed so many videos since this COVID-19. It's unbelievable. So let's talk about it. So here's what I use to do videos. Here's my equipment list. I use the DJI Ronin S. That is, for what it's worth, the DJI Ronin S is this little thing that I attach a camera to, okay? And it stabilizes the camera so that the camera, as I move and I walk around, it looks like a drone is flying inside the house. It's like crazy, super stable. That's called the DJI Ronin S, okay? For the camera that sits on top of the DJI Ronin S, I personally use, and look, there are a million options at this point. Panasonic, Sony, I mean, oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. Heck, I could even use my Canon 1DX, okay, on this DJI Ronin S. I just don't like it because it's so stinking heavy. So for that reason, I use the X Pro 2 camera with the 14mm lens, okay? X Pro 2 camera, that's the Fuji with the 14mm lens. It's like super light, and plus I use that camera whenever I go on vacation. So it was another reason to have it. Now, Matterport, if you're not familiar with Matterport, I'll give you my cell phone in a minute. You can text me. I'll text you back an example of what Matterport does. I have a Matterport of my studio, and you can go nose around my studio. You can go look at all my little corners and look at my studio, and you can look at my little kitchen area. You can look at where I do retouching in my production area. You can look at all of it because I created a Matterport 3-dimensional scan of my studio. When we break, give me your cell phone. I'm gonna write them all down, and I will text every one of you guys a Matterport scan of my studio. But these Matterport scans, especially during this coronavirus, have been like magic, okay? This is a way that real estate agents can show a property without ever being there. It's a 3-dimensional scan walkthrough of a property. Now, before you get all juiced up like we photographers do, we get juiced up. We're like, ooh, I'm going to buy me some equipment. Do your homework, okay? Because Matterport, this is a crazy company, all right? They charge, like you buy the camera, but you don't own the camera. Then you got to pay this, and you got to pay that, and you got to pay this. And there's all kinds of hidden charges. So make sure you do your homework on Matterport before you just arbitrarily buy a Matterport, okay? I use Gitzo carbon fiber tripods. We've already established that. I cut all my videos together using Final Cut Pro X. And then I use triple scoop music so I'm legal when it comes to music, and nobody get their YouTube videos shut down whenever they do that. So with that said, let me show you a sample video that I have done of a property. Here we go. Remember, this ain't Steven Spielberg, okay? Okay, so there you go. That is an example of a video that I created to sell a property. Okay, now we talked about Matterport just a few moments ago. Let me show you a short little video clip of a Matterport. Now this is just, again, this ain't the Matterport. This is just a video clip of the Matterport of my studio. Okay, so that's the end of that. So that is what Matterport looks like. It's these three-dimensional scans, if you haven't actually seen one of these before. So before, let me stop this share. Stop. Come on, escape. All right, so if anybody would like for me to send you the full 3D scan of my studio, I need a number where I can text that to. Who wants that?
I think Gretchen already put her number in the chat for you.
Oh, chat. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Let me get the chat up here. Oh, there you go, Gretchen. Good. All right, so I got 504. All right, cool. So I got one. Anybody else want it, or that's just one? That's fine. Don't feel obligated. Okay.
There, check chat.
Oh, check chat again. Here we go.
Hey, Kirk, send me one.
All right. Who is that?
Leslie.
All right. There you are. Okay. 337. Oops. 7. All right, so I got good. I will send y'all both an example of my studio's Matterport. All right, any questions about video before we move on to additional sales? Holler it out or raise your hand. All right, let's talk additional sales. We're gonna go right back into that. All right, so here's some of the things that happen as a result of being a real estate photographer, okay? Some of the additional sales that you can look forward to. Business headshots, okay? Let me tell you something. I learned this also from some buddies of mine before. You have got to be proactive when it comes to establishing rules, okay? Like, for example, if I ask the ladies in the room, what's the rule when it comes to how much should you spend on an engagement ring diamond? Boom. Y'all gonna be like, 3 months salary, three months salary, right? Boom. You don't even, it just rolls off your tongue. Why? Because the diamond industry has grilled that into your head. Well, guess what? As a professional photographer, I grill it into every real estate agent that you need to do professional headshots at least once a year, no more than once every 2 years, because you change. So as a result, I do a ton of business headshots. As a result of being a real estate photographer, I have noticed that my family portrait business has increased, okay? Because you know what goes with home ownership? Family. Family goes with home ownership. And so if you play your cards right, the home becomes part of the family. And it ain't a big leap to sell them on why they need family portraits in their home, okay? I mean, it's a simple sell. Another thing that is an additional sale when it comes to being a real estate photography is the high-res digital files. In my area, they require 1,600 pixels on the long side for their MLS system. That's a pretty low res file. But if they want to use those images to create maybe like a brochure or something like that, they need the high res files. Those high res files have zero value. They mean nothing to me. So forget about the long gone days when we used to be like, I could never sell you my negatives. That's my, man, forget about that crapola. Okay? The negatives or the high-res digital files is just an opportunity for you to make more money. Okay? More money. I sell a high-res package as a $75 add-on. In other words, hire me to do your house, $99. I shoot 12 pictures. Would you also like the high-res files? Yeah, I might want to make a brochure. That's a $75 add-on. Whoop-de-doo. It's cheap enough. It's just cheap enough that they go, yeah, put that on my bill too. Sure. And I make an extra $75. Now, you think, oh, $75. Whoop-de-doo, Kirk. I don't know. You do that 10 times? I don't know where you guys come from, but that's $750. Okay? You do that 100 times? That's an extra $7,500. And it's nothing for me to photograph 500 houses in a year. So it's nothing for me to add an extra 100 houses out of those 500, and I make an extra $7,500. So forget about the art. We're not artists. We're technicians. We're just high-paid pressure washers, okay? Making a buck. And our product is photography. Gift cards, as a result, I mean, I notice I have gift cards available for people who say, I'd like to give my friend a portrait session. Great, here's a gift. Go to Square and get a gift card. You know what's the beautiful thing about a gift card? Of all, brace yourself, you ain't gonna believe it. Of all the gift cards I have ever sold in my life, count them. You ready? You ready to count how many have cashed it in? None. None. Not one person. I sell them. I get the money. I don't have to do the work. I love gift cards. I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. They give them away. Nobody ever exchanges them. I don't understand it. I don't try to explain it. I just collect the money and put it in the bank. Forgive me for being such a businessman. Okay, another thing that happens as add-ons is gift albums. I've never made it secret. I use H&H Color Lab, and H&H has some really fantastic albums that I can sell for about $45, $50, and that's what I sell to real estate agents who I notice, certain ones will come in and it's like, oh, these people, they're just so upset. They're so broke. This house has been in the family for generations and blah, blah. And I'll say, oh, boo. You know what you ought to do? What, Kirk? For $50, you should make a little album for them and give it to them as a gift. Can you imagine? You'll have a customer for life. This is the kind of thing that these people will, if they ever sell something again, they're gonna remember you. That's like printing money. Okay, the album cost me $14, $15 from H&H. I make $50. It ain't complicated, and it ain't pretty. It's like picture 1, page 1, picture 2, page 2, picture 3, page 3. It's stupid simple. Okay, so gift albums, corporate events. Let me tell you something about real estate agents. They love to partay, okay? They love it. And they love to have pictures of these parties that they share all over social media and show everybody how much fun they have. So I get hired for various corporate events where they putting on this event or putting on that event. Or now there's a few that I have been known to do for free, like when the board of realtors has a award banquet, for example, and they've called me up, Kirk, we'd like you to do our award banquet. Oh, is this for the board? Yeah, I'll do that for no charge. What? Yeah. Look, this board is just phenomenal for me. You guys put so much money in your pocket, put so much money in my pocket. This is my way of giving a little back. I'll photograph that event, no charge. And you know what else I'll do? Anybody who wants a picture, it's free. I'm the good guy. I like being the good guy. As a result of being the good guy, guess what? Boom, I get phone calls out the wazoo after that for people who say, hey, Kirk, I saw you at the awards banquet. Well, I got a house I need you to photograph. It's a no-brainer, people. So that's what I mean about join the board, get involved, okay? Another thing that happened to me from being a real estate photographer is the word got out that I was doing real estate photography. And I got some phone calls. Hey, man, do you do resort photography? Now, I'll be honest with you guys. What the heck is resort photography? You know? So I started doing a little research and I asked around a little bit and I'm like, what's resort photography? Well, you know what resort photography is? Resort photography is real estate photography that lasts all day long. Okay? It's the same thing as real estate photography, but you get to go to really highly exotic places like this. The picture you see at the top was done with that Mavic Pro 2 drone that I just told y'all about, okay? This is a really, really high-end resort in Mexico. I did the images. They were so impressed. They loved the images. They called me back. They said, hey, Kirk, we got 7 more resorts for you to photograph. I photographed those 7 resorts. And then, of course, the COVID-19 crap hit the fan because they said they had another 50, count them, 50 resorts for me to photograph literally all over the world. And it still may happen if this COVID-19 thing goes away and the economy comes back. But if not, whatever, I still got paid. They paid me. But that is what resort photography is. Okay, so additional sales. Before we get into post-production, let me stop the share. Let me kill this. And let's talk. Y'all got questions about additional sales? Holler them out.
What size is that album? 8 by 8?
I think it's roughly, 8 by 8 roughly. It's you know, H&H makes this beautiful lay flat album. It's not that one. It's the one that works like a lay flat but does not lay flat.
Just have they bend over and go flat.
Yeah, it's like $15 if I, you know, but it is a press product. It is not a photographic product. And yeah, $15. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, who's this? Someone asked me a question. Wait.
Frank's in the chat. Yeah.
Chat, Frank, and does it?
Yeah, I just typed it because you were talking.
Yeah, it does. It does. If all I did was 12 pictures, of course, that's all it has is the 12 pictures, you know? But if they hired me to do more pictures, well, then it has more pictures. But if all it has is 12 pictures, I mean, that's it.
So basically, all you're giving them is whatever you presented to them in hard copy or the files.
Yes, simple, crazy simple.
And H&H was your company?
Yep.
Bonus. Thank you.
Yep. Additional sales. Questions? We're going to move into post-production because this is where the magic happens, okay? I'm going to take that as a no. All right, so let's talk post-production. I'm going to throw this slide back up for just a minute, and then we're going to exit this slide. So this is my daughter, Scarlett, okay? And Scarlett, like I told you, she has her own clientele. Scarlett has been photographing with me. The very first time she photographed with me was, I think she was 10 or 12 years old, I think. She came with us on a wedding. She was the 3rd shooter at a wedding. She knew squat, diddly squat. And I said, Scarlett, this is a camera. This is how you push the button. If you see something cool, take a picture of it. Okay, Daddy. And off she went, okay? She's never really showed much interest in it. I just used her as a free labor. Forgive me. Anyway, but here lately, what has happened, you know, she's old and married, and she's like, man, you know what? This photography thing, this is a pretty cool gig. I can make money with this. And as a result, she's now doing real estate photography. Okay. And I trained her. I took it step by step by step and pretended I was trying to create a clone of me. And here's the reality, if y'all don't mind me getting frank with you. If you imagine that after this class, you're like, I got this. Oh, Kirk was wonderful. I'm a real estate photographer now. Let me break the bad news to you. You're not, okay? It is way more complex than you think, especially when we get into the Photoshop part of this and how I do what I do. It is extremely complicated, okay? It took me 1 year working with Scarlett almost every day to get her to be able to see it and understand the concept of color and lighting and all this kind of stuff. Now, Scarlett does all of my retouching. That's how good she is. I shoot a job. If the picture you see of me, this is inside my Jeep. I have a little desk inside of my Jeep. The desk, the Jeep, and just like police officers, I have that computer connected to the internet. I shoot a job. My wife, I'm in the driver's seat here, but normally my wife's in the driver's seat, and she drives me around. I'll show up at a job, for example, at 9 o'clock. I'll photograph the job. I then then pull the images into the computer, do a fast edit of the raw images, narrowing it down to the best ones and converting them into JPEGs. Those JPEGs are then uploaded to Scarlett, who picks them up, finishes the retouching, bills and delivers the image, bills the client and delivers the images to the client. If I shoot a job at 9 o'clock, it is not unusual for Scarlett to have the images delivered to the client before I get to the next job at 10 o'clock. That's how efficient we are. It's like an extremely well-oiled machine, okay? So with that said, let me kill this screen, and we're gonna stop the share, and we're gonna share Photoshop, okay? Stop. All right, and let me open up Photoshop. In fact, we're just gonna open up the desktop so that y'all can just see my desktop. And we are gonna jump into the actual retouching process, okay? This is where the magic happens, okay? Desktop 1. Let's just go straight on the desktop. Someone talk to me. Joel, talk to me. Are you seeing my desktop?
It's screen share started, but I don't see your desktop.
So you're not seeing Bridge and Photoshop now?
Nope.
All right, hold on. Let me stop it.
Yep.
So we're back to everybody.
Yep. Pick that other window.
Oh, let's go. No, that's the desktop 1. Let's see. Share. So
there we go.
All right.
Got it.
Seeing Bridge now and Photoshop?
Photoshop coming up.
All right, cool. So now when I go here, are you seeing Bridge?
You're there.
Okay, great. So in Bridge, I use Bridge. A lot of you guys use Lightroom, okay? And the reason I think you use Lightroom, and maybe I could be wrong, but it's because Lightroom is pretty, okay? I don't care about pretty. I care about functionality, okay? And I can operate inside of Bridge so much faster. I've read like book after book after book and on real estate photography, and I've watched gazillions of videos, and anything and everything I can get my hands on, I watch it and learn and read about it. And every one of the photographers out there who does real estate photography, who can't stand Lightroom, it fascinates me because all of the reasons they hate Lightroom, Bridge, if they just use Bridge, they wouldn't have to be so aggravated. Bridge does all the things that they want it to do. But For some unknown reason, nobody uses Bridge. And I think the reason people don't use Bridge is because when they first open up Bridge, it looks something like this. Are you seeing that weird film strip, metadata? Okay, good. All right. So, but there's all sorts of different ways that you can set up Bridge. I set it up. You can move all this stuff, like this collection thing. You can move this around. You can move this around. You can move this, all this stuff around all kinds of different ways inside Bridge. Well, once I got it all set up the way I wanted, boom, I saved it as my default. And this is my default screen. And so I get to navigate, you know, through different, like right here, real estate Photoshop class. And then we're going to talk about these 5 shots right here. These 5 shots that you're seeing on the screen right now is that bathroom that I showed y'all earlier. Okay. And these are raw, straight off the camera. The first thing I do is I highlight all of them, right click, develops, and I go over to living room, what I call living room or inside. And I do a generic preset. This is one of my presets. We're going to talk about Kirk. How do I get your presets? I'll talk about that in a minute, okay? So I do a quick generic inside preset to all those images. But now, I'll be brutally honest with you, it kind of looks a little blue, okay? So I double click this one, which is the one right in the middle. And I know that this ceiling right here, are you seeing right in here? And this molding, I know that that's white because I photographed it. So I take my little eyedropper and I click on it. And you know what? That gets me really close as a gray card or a white balance. Okay, click done. So now this image is close to right. But now what I want to do is I want to apply that, right click, I'll select them all, right click, develops, previous conversion. So now it applies it to every one of those images. Okay, so it happens just that fast. It takes me longer to say it than it takes me to do it. Now, the first image I shot, right click, develops, preset, and I set the preset as Windows. So this is a Windows preset that it's not perfect, but it's close. So this preset, I'm gonna double click it, and it's really too dark outside. I ain't worried about what happens inside. I'm just worried about what happens through these windows. Now, I know for a fact that this was a gray roof. Take my eyedropper, click on that gray roof. Now it's color balanced. Then I raise the black slider, and I want that outside. I forget about the inside, just the outside. I'm looking at outside. I want the outside side to look nice and creamy. Okay, highlights. That's looking real creamy. Whites. Oh, that's looking real creamy. Blacks, real creamy. All right, done. So the outside is set. Now I look at this first image, second image, third image. I'm like, oh, this is the one. I can tell. And I would normally just highlight these and delete, but I don't want to delete those because I'm going to use this for a future class. And I would end up with just 2 images. I then combine those 2 images into one image. And we're going to actually show you, I'm going to actually do this in a few seconds. But just so you understand the process, here is that finished image. Okay? Cool so far? Let's look at a full session. Okay? Here's a whole house, 12 images. Front of the house, aerial, top front, aerial, high, back, backyard, okay? Kitchen, dining, living room, master bath, bedroom, extra bath, and extra bedroom. These are the raw files after I did the conversion, after I did the presets to them, after I did the inside setups to all the different window shots. And after I went through that entire process, here is the finished images. Front of the house, aerial front, aerial high back, back of the house ground, kitchen, dining, kitchen, whatever combo, living room, master, master bath, extra bedroom, bathroom for the extra bedroom, and the third bedroom. And that's it. So those is a classic example of those 12 shots, okay? 23, good, looking good. So this is what we're gonna work now. Here is the raw files of an outside image. Joel, confirm with me, you see an outside image, yes?
Yep.
Okay, good. Here's an outside image. Here's an image in the rain. Here is an aerial shot. Here's another aerial shot with the Mavic 2 Pro. Here's an inside shot, and here's a window shot. We're gonna actually work all six different images, 7 total images, all right? And we're gonna work through the entire process. So here, let's start with the outside image. I double click on it. And this is, you know, straight off the camera, what you're seeing right here, okay? This is an outside image, straight off the camera. I'll be brutally honest with you. I ain't too proud to say this sucks, okay? It sucks. It's nothing special. Excuse me, it's nothing special. It's the front of a house with lots of shadows and grossness. But this is straight off the camera. So over time, it's taken me a while, taken me 5 years to put together and create these presets. But here is the outside preset. Wait, let me find it. Outside, okay? Excuse me. Wait, let's undo it. Outside. Undo it. Outside. So with this outside preset done, just that fast, I have taken an image that is pretty vanilla and made it pretty nice. Let me just, in fact, open it up. Look at how nice and blue the skies are, got the nice clouds while there's lots of shadows and things on the ground. You can now see a little bit of detail in this house, and it's way more fun to look at, okay? Now, from this point, even though the preset is there, and by the way, yes, I know I use Bridge, but does these presets, Kirk, does these presets work in Lightroom? Yes, they work in Lightroom. While I do not like Lightroom, it still works in Lightroom. By the way, just if you want, you know what Lightroom is? Lightroom is strictly a portal to get you to Adobe Camera Raw. To get to Adobe Camera Raw, you can access that portal via Photoshop, Bridge. There's all sorts of ways to access the Adobe Camera Raw portal. I happen to use Bridge. If you want to use Lightroom, no problem. It still works. Okay, back to the story. So just, you can see that it's way more fun to look at now. Now, a few things I may reduce the clarity. I may darken it just a little bit. I may adjust the lightness of those clouds. Those clouds look a little spectacular. I may adjust it a little bit. So even though you have the presets, you still have to tweak it a bit, okay? Once you tweak it, done. We'll move on. Now, this image was done literally in the rain. It is raining when I took this picture, okay? But as you can tell, do you see any raindrops? No, you don't see raindrops. What you do see is a nice white sky, beautiful white sky. So let's first of all go to outside preset, okay? And, oh shucks, sorry, let me open that back up. Then the next thing we need to do is make sure the color is balanced properly. Put the eyedropper, this is a gray roof, so we're gonna click on that gray roof, and we're gonna tweak, you know, the blacks a little bit, that's about right. Shadow, that's about right. Highlight, we don't wanna get it so dark that we starting to, see how we starting to, in that image, starting to pick up some of the clouds. That's not what we want. We wanna make sure we're not picking up any clouds, okay? Another little trick you can do is you can open up saturation, desaturate the blue, and go to luminance and increase the luminance on the blue channel. Because you know what? We don't want no indication of any blue up here. And I'll explain that in a minute, okay? Click done. All right, we'll move on now to this one and this was done with the Inspire 2 drone, okay? And as you can tell, it's pretty vanilla. And the first, I mean, I spent 10 grand because I bought it when they first came out. And now you can get an Inspire 2 for less than $10,000. But that's what I paid for it when I got it. And I'll be brutally honest with you. I was like crazy disappointed on a $10,000 drone that this image that you see here is what I was getting, okay? But when you do a little tweaking with presets, watch this. Inspire 2, bam. Look how much better that looks, okay? Even more than that was, this is a funny story. I get hired to photograph these resorts in Mexico. And sure, I got this fancy schmancy $10,000 drone, but I mean, I'm going to Mexico for God's sake, you know? I mean, I could carry this drone that fits in my camera bag, or I could bring a big case and this and that and all the crap that goes with the Inspire 2. So you know what? I just made a decision. I brought the Mavic Pro 2, $2,000 drone, and it fits in my camera bag. And I brought 2 extra batteries. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, nobody even knew I had it. That's how little this thing is. That's how much of a toy it looks like. And I'm photographing this fancy resort. And, you know, they got a Greg Norman golf course that goes all around it. The sun is going down. Everything about it's like, oh, this is it. This is the moment. If you was really creative right about here, you'd zoom in and you'd see me sitting on the roof, okay? And I get out there and I go click, 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 and I shoot all these pictures and I get the drone, I land the drone, I go back to my room, I load the images into Photoshop, and I'm like, well, these pictures suck. I mean, I can't believe, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I didn't charge these people all this crazy money to photograph these images that are supposed to be spectacular, and these pictures suck. Well, I started fiddling with Photoshop and fiddling with presets, and check this out. Watch this. One preset, Mavic 2, bam. Watch this. Before, this is straight off the camera, and this is with just clicking the preset. I mean, that, to me, that blows my mind, okay? So you do that fancy preset. This is an inside image. We're going to do this won't take but a second. Living room. And then after you click the preset, you still got to say, you know, you got to use good judgment. You got to say, it looks a little yellow. And I remember when I photographed it, this roof is nice and white. So right there, that should do it. Done. You got to click. You got to do a little click balancing. This is a window shot, okay? So I have a window preset. We go to Windows, and it is very generic. Even after you click the preset, you have to do some tweaking, like bring up the blacks, bring up the shadows, reduce the highlights. Right there. Remember, we want it to look nice and creamy. Nice, come on, right there, nice and creamy. Right, that's pretty close. Okay, done. And then the inside image, we're going to do a preset. Living room, and then just going to make a color correction right in here, right there. Good, done. All right. So now, because of the magic of television, you know, we could process all of these in Photoshop, but hey, I just happen to have them done. Okay. So check that out. You open this image up in Photoshop, and the only thing left at this point that you really need to do is maybe a little bit of tweaking in the shadow areas. So here's a wicked cool trick, okay? Go over to your dodge tool, change it to shadow mode, change the exposure to 100, but here's the real magic. Click protect tones. Make sure this checkbox is on. One more time. Dodge tool, shadow mode, exposure 100, protected tones on. So what happens is now when I click in these areas, it happens real slow. So I can lighten up in this little dark area right here, just a little bit. It makes it way more fun to look at, okay? So that's about it. That's all you have to do here with that image. Let me go back to photo here. Oh, here's something everybody likes to see. All right, Kirk, my real estate agents are not going to accept this because they always want blue skies. That's why they want to cancel. They want to cancel when it's raining. I don't cancel when it's raining. I Photoshop, okay? So I shoot it like this. You saw me get rid of all the blue when we were doing the raw conversion. You hit play, and I have a nice, cool action that I created called Add Clouds. Play. It then selects, notice it selects primarily this light area. But I like to come in and click to make sure it's selecting that light area, okay? I even like to click my little plus symbol and make sure it's just selecting this white area. Then I adjust my fuzziness while watching the image. And see, right now I can see some green inside this window, you see, and in here. So I'm gonna tweak my fuzziness down and then up and then down while looking at both that black and white image and the green image. And right about there, I find a nice happy medium. Click OK. And then now it switches over to paintbrush mode, white, and it allows me to erase by just painting anything that I don't want. So I know I don't want any of this green stuff going on in the bricks. And I want it in the windows. I don't want it on the concrete over here. So I'm going to get rid of all of this. I don't want it on this roof right here. Getting rid of all of this on the roof. Getting rid of it here. Getting rid of it on the edges. In here. All this down in here. All right. Turn off. Right here is where you turn that off. That's the little square with the circle around it. And now you get to see the dancing ants. Nope, I don't see no dancing ants inside the house. I see some going on between the trees. Great. I see some going on through the mosquito screen. Great. I see a lot going on in the sky, but and over here. So that's what I want. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, I now go Shift, Command on a Mac or Control on a PC. Okay, and it inverts that selection. And then I go over to my layer mask way down here at the bottom of my layers palette. That's the square with the circle around it. When I click on it, watch what happens. Boop. A nice blue sky just pops in, ready to go. How cool is that? Now you see this image and you'd be like, he shot that on a beautiful day. Nope. It was pouring down raining. All right, you close this image. I'm gonna let y'all ask questions. I feel y'all hands raising up right now. I feel y'all asking questions. Can't ask them yet. I'm not really gonna talk about this because there's not a lot to talk about. All right, but I am gonna talk about this image. This is an inside image just to show you some of the things that happen on an inside image. First thing I always like to do. See, I have an action that does this, and this is part of my presets, my real estate packet. I have an action that I've set up called, where is it? Perfect Real Estate, play. And what it does is the first thing that this action does is it makes, it converts it to the layer into a, not from a background, into a layer. And then I'll look at the image and I'll look at right here and I'm like, yep, that's all nice and straight. This is straight. Wait, oh, this is a little crooked. So you hold down your command or control key, and now I can slide this over and straighten these walls out, okay? I can hold down my shift key, crop in a little bit more, right about there, okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I can now straighten out something that maybe I didn't straighten out perfectly when I took it, okay? I can then, and then it stops, part of the action stops by selecting the dodge tool, shadow mode, 100 with protected tone selected. I can then highlight right in here and say, I'm just clicking all in here in this ceiling area. making that nice and white. Oh, back in here, it's kind of a little dingy. I'll lighten that up a little bit. Maybe back in here, these chairs look a little dingy. This looks a little dingy. This looks a little dingy. Okay, that's looking pretty good. At this point, boom, I'd save that off and move on to the next image. All right, close this, don't save. All right, let's go back to bridge. Now, here's what a lot of people ask about. Kirk, tell me about those windows. How do you get those windows? I'm gonna open both of those images. So now I have the image of the inside with blown out windows, and I have an image of just the windows, okay? I make sure I have just this image up, the image with just the windows, okay, up, where it looks beautiful outside and everything inside is dark, and I play my action. Now, this is how fast it happens, but then we're gonna do it slow, okay? So I go over to my actions palette, and I click on blend windows, and I click play. And then this dialog box comes up, and I slide this over, and watch, see, right here, I'm all black. Right here, I'm letting all the windows come through. So I'm looking for a nice happy medium. When I get about here, I split it by holding my option key, and I make it just about there. And I click OK, and now I have the outside blended with the inside. What I just did was I told Photoshop, anything black, make it disappear, okay? So let's go through that. Let's do it slow, all right? Let's do it slow. Let me combine this. So now, this little slider, this is a layer style. Cancel. To get to layer style, you double click on that top layer, okay? And layer style pops up, all right? And so now this top slider represents everything in the top photo. The bottom slider represents everything in the bottom photo. So by sliding from the dark side to the light side, I'm telling Photoshop, anything that is this dark, get rid of it. Anything that is this dark, get rid of it. Anything that is this dark, get rid of it. Then you can hit option and split it and make a gradation between the two and make it even a fine tuning of the two. So that what you end up with is a blending of the outside with the inside, okay? And you end up with this. Now, of course, you can flatten it. You can then lighten some of these areas and make it way more pleasing, just like that. And lighten this a little bit, make that more pleasing, make this, maybe lighten that a little bit, make that a little pleasing, and then save it. But I'm not gonna save it because I'm gonna use this later. Okay, don't save. Okay, so now let me stop my share. Stop. All right, so y'all just saw me work several images. And that is the true magic of where this process happens, okay? Questions, fire them off. This is where it gets crazy. Y'all muted, unmute if you want to talk to me.
Hey, Kirk.
Yo.
So are you saying you're splitting the difference of what you would do in Lightroom as opposed to what you're doing in Adobe Bridge because it's easier in your workflow, or it works better in that application?
I don't use Lightroom at all.
Okay.
Lightroom is just a portal to get to Adobe Camera Raw, to convert raw files into usable JPEGs. Personally, I have found Bridge easier, a better method to do that. And it's free just like Lightroom.
Now, second part of my question is, I remember about probably a little bit more than that, about 15 years ago, you did a class at your place when we talked about using the levels, and you did the kind of the same type thing. In this application, other than your real estate photography, where it has to do with the blacks or whatever in a house? Is this an application for specifically what? The blacks or shadows? That is, if you're photographing, let's just say I'm photographing a bride in the house, can that same application be used?
Kinda. That levels trick that I talk about, that you're referring to, allows you to show the best black to white ratio of an image, the best contrast without ruining the image.
Right.
And in real estate photography, it becomes a lot more complex, because some of these dark areas, for example, a television, it's a, you know, or underneath a countertop, all this stuff is supposed to be black, you know, unlike underneath someone's eye, underneath in here, it ain't supposed to be black, you know?
Right.
I mean, just, it's a little more complicated. So it's kind of like, I'm going to say yes and no. It's kind of like you'd have to fiddle with that. But what I'm doing here is no. It's mostly no.
Okay. So in essence, you're controlling your shadows to your liking based on your subject matter.
Okay. In the portrait world, it's all about creating highlight and shadows on a 3-dimensional object on a flat plane. You know, we sell pictures. We sell 8x10s, which are flat, and we want them to look 3-dimensional. In the real estate world, we want it to look, it's different. It's natural. We want it to look like the house really looks. So for that reason, I use the lights that are already in the room. As a result of that, I end up, and I'll use my extra little funky light as a little bit of supplement. But I mean, for the most part, I'm using just the lights that are in the room, so that room looks real, man. It looks, you walk into that room, you're like, yep, it was dark in that corner when he shot it, and it looks dark now, you know?
Right. Okay. I got you. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Questions? I'm going to take that as a no. All right. So
how do we get those actions?
Glad you asked that. I will put that last slide up. So at the PPA, where is that? Hold on, let me find it. There it is. Okay, so at PPA Nationals, here, let me share this screen and I'll talk at you while this slide is up. And then we'll handle any other questions you got. So at PPA Nationals, so you see those cute little thumb drives? I literally had thumb drives with me, okay? And I sold them for $49, okay? And lots of people bought them, and they took those little thumb drives with them. And on those little thumb drives were all the instructions on how to set up their Adobe presets, how to set up their, you notice it says 3 years of ProForum. Well, for them, it was only 1 year of ProForum access. How to set up the Photoshop actions, the images, the videos. I have video instructions, all the written instructions and everything. And I sold it to them for $49, okay? So I got to thinking about it, and I said, how could I do this for PPLA, all right? And while I can't sell you a thumb drive because we all up in this quarantine craziness, I said to myself, if you would like to join the ProForum, which is a website that I own, the ProForum is an information website where we exchange ideas, professional photographers from all over the world, exchange ideas. If you want to go to the homepage, it's pro4um.com. If you want to go straight to the forum, it's forum, forum.proforum.com. All right. Create an account, then click, after you've logged in, click sign, join now or renew. Either one of them brings you to the same spot. And if you join for 3 years during the COVID-19 thing, we've reduced the price to where you can join for 3 years for $49. If you join for 3 years, you will automatically, everybody who joins for 3 years for this $49 thing will automatically get emailed all of my Photoshop presets, actions, images, videos, and all of the instructions. Okay, kill that. End of commercial. I didn't want this to become into a sales pitch. So that's it. That's how you could do it. Okay. By the way, for you two guys who sent me your phone numbers, I have not forgot about you. I will send you this immediately after this thing ends, and I can get on a I can get on my cell phone. So questions? If not, that is the end of this thing. If y'all got questions, dude, I'm here. Okay. I'm here to help you out. By the way, with the Pro Forum, we have a support thread, because like I told you about my daughter, it took me 1 year to train Scarlett. So I thought to myself, when I created this class, I'm like, I can't just throw this out there and tease everybody about it and say, okay, there's no way to learn, okay, well, tough noogies, learn on your own. You're just going to have some kind of support. So I have a Pro Forum support thread that I am supporting for a year now. And people keep asking questions, and how do I do this? And how do I do that? And so that's where I'm answering those questions. So in the meantime, fire off those questions.
I have a question for you, Kirk.
No.
Because I know that James and Leslie probably know this answer, but how long has the Pro Forum been around?
Scarlett is, wait, let me confirm this. Scarlett is 5. Sorry, she's only my daughter. And that's how I know how old the Pro Forum is, because it came into existence when she was born. And so Scarlett is 25, and the Pro Forum's been around for 25 years.
Joe, since I'm only 24, I would not have known the answer to that question.
Yeah, right. I'm just not going there, James.
So I hope this benefited you guys. The purpose of this was not to create a commercial, but it's like very difficult for me to do this without showing how I do it in Photoshop. That was not my purpose. My purpose with all this was to show you, some marketing ideas, and maybe to help some of you guys get into this real estate thing. So
thoroughly enjoyed, Kirk.
Well,
all right,
Kirk,
bro.
I want to thank you.
I have, wait.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
I'm gonna go back to like
Go.
the beginning.
I'm here, boo.
So you said that the Houma market for you, it was really bad. You mentioned the New Orleans market. What research have you done with the New Orleans market?
Okay, I haven't researched. Okay, New Orleans is a clean hour and a half for me. If
Right.
someone says, hey, Kirk, I got a house on 4th Street in New Orleans, okay, that's an hour and a half for me to get there. So let's look at this like business people, okay? It's an hour and a half for me to get there. It's an hour and a half for me to get home. That's 3 hours of driving, okay?
Right.
If I miss the awesome and I pull off the job in 30 minutes, okay, that's 3.5 hours. Okay, in Houma, I can do $99 jobs every hour, all day, every day. So for me to go to New Orleans for one job, I have to invest 3.5 hours of time. You follow my concept here?
Yeah. No, I just didn't know if because you said you had looked into the real estate board here, if you knew anything about it. That's all.
Yes, I looked out of curiosity. I looked into the real estate board in New Orleans. How much was it? It was $250 back when I researched it. Okay, I asked them, do I get the email addresses for free? They said no, you got to buy that. But it was cheap. This is what I remember. It was cheap. Okay, so I thought to myself, man, opportunity is knocking if I want to get on this, right? But I never pursued it because of the simple fact that I had so much business in Houma. It's just not worth my while to go to New Orleans, invest 3.5 hours of my time for $100. It just ain't worth it for me. Now,
Do you do any like new construction stuff? With
I
that?
do. Yeah, why?
To say I work for a construction company, so I'm ready to take pictures of our houses.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so the same concepts would work the same way.
The only thing I hate about new construction, if you want me to be brutally honest with you, is you fellas do not have any window treatments.
No.
Okay? So it's ugly. How's that for brutal honesty? Forgive me for
It's
being
ugly.
honest with you. It's ugly, okay? It's all blank windows and this
Right.
kind of stuff. So it creates a tremendous amount of extra work for me because I got all these wide open windows of the neighbors' houses. It's ugly, okay?
Mhm.
And I've often thought to myself, you know, again, but it wouldn't work. New construction people wouldn't. I often thought about carrying like temporary window treatments in my car, literally, just to kind of prop up, just because it's ugly. All right.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just say
What I've taken so far, I've never really liked it.
yeah, it is what it is. So I do all that blending, like I just showed you how I do it, and I just do what I do. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. This was great. I was driving, eating, everything, watching this.
All right, cool. Glad to
Thank you so much. It was great fun too.
Did you
Thank
pick
you.
my order for me at Popeyes?
Yeah, I ate it though. I fed it to my dog.
Kirk, I want to thank you again. I always enjoy listening to you. You've always given back, and we appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much. Yes, thank you.
So officially, I'm going to stop this recording right now. Let me do that.